Hi, welcome to I also just spit on myself, really? Good morning. Before we start, I thought I'd just show you that I just washed and blocked the sweater and I still love it and I can't wait to wear it again. I also need to shave it though, because like, you know how where rubs you get those little nubs? I have a shaver, so I'll link it. It's from Amazon and I really like it. Just in case anybody else gets those, like I just want to get them off so it looks brand new again. I need to move this to start filming, so I thought I'd just quick show you. Hi, welcome to Fiber Love Diary. I'm Trisha if we haven't met, and if we have met, welcome back. How are you? I finally feel like myself. I think people could tell in the last live that I'm feeling pretty much back to normal. Thank goodness. Oh my word. I've been thinking about doing this video for actually a couple years. It has been on a list that I had in Trello back when I was using Trello, and then it has been on a list in my old phone for, it has to be over 2 years now. And we talked about it. I have a couple videos coming up that have been waiting for a year or more. I'm not sure why sometimes I wait so long. You just gotta wait till the time is right sometimes. The time is right. I've done blending videos before. I've done a lot of color videos with you guys because I feel like it's one of those things that kind of scares some people, because we know that if we muddy things or if we make them a color we can't stand, or if we can't picture how they're gonna come out, it can be kind of scary because you think, well, I'm probably gonna waste this if I screw it up. I'm gonna do this technique with a blending board and with a drum carder because it never fails. If I do it with a drum carder, someone will say, I don't have a drum carder, I only have a blending board, and vice versa. So I'm gonna do one on each and I'm gonna show you exactly how to get this effect with, I think I'm gonna do two colors on one and 3 colors on the other. What we're gonna use is a technique patterned. I've never seen anyone else do it this exact way, but I'm sure people are doing it this way. So it's patterned after a technique in polymer clay called a Skinner blend. So you take 2 colors and you use those 2 colors to make a gradient. In that case, you would run them through a pasta machine over and over usually, or I mean, you would fold them maybe and roll them out, which would take so long, but I'm sure people do that too. I'm just trying to decide what colors I'm gonna use because of course I didn't prep for that. And I'm gonna pick 2 colors that are very, very different so that you can see what the blend is in between. I love a gradient. I've showed how to take apart a hand-dyed braid before and make a gradient out of it, and that is, to me, a technique that is like worth its weight in gold, because you might get a braid and think, oh, I wish I could do something different with this instead of just spin it in a fractal or spin it as it comes. If you chain ply or if you use a single, that gives you an option to make something that is a gradient beginning to end, and it's so cool. So I'm going to do that with I'm trying to decide the colors. Let me pick out some colors and we'll be right back. Here's what I've decided to go with. I am gonna go white to this gorgeous blue. This is one of my favorite blues in the whole wide world. I'm gonna use this gorgeous blue and just fade it into white with the gradient. And this is gonna be a really effective way to do this. I ended up going with BFL mulberry silk. It's gonna be really pretty with the silk. So I weighed out 2.5 ounces of that. I'm gonna weigh out 2.5 ounces of the blue. We're gonna blend this on the drum carder. Then I'm gonna do a different one on the blending board, a different color. Am I gonna do a different color combo? Yeah, there is a combo I really want to try. So we're gonna do a different combo on the blending board. And then I'll show you how to do a 3 color one on the drum carder as well. These 2, okay? I'm gonna point you at the table so I can explain and show you what I'm doing. What I wanna do is divide each of these into, for the beginning, 2 full pieces and a half a piece. So what I actually will just start out doing is laying it out. I want to overlap that a little bit because it gets thinner when you break it. All right, see, that's pretty close. So now we have a certain length, and it just depends on the roving, so you just have to play with it till you get it there. A certain length that's a whole piece, a certain length that's a second whole piece, and then a half a piece. Hopefully that makes sense. So when I break these, and I'm going to, this again is for the drum carder. I'm gonna make a 5-ounce bat. I can make like a 6-ounce bat on that drum carder at least. So I know that I won't overflow it. I gotta do the same thing with the white. This is a whole piece, this middle is a whole piece, and then you have half the length of the 2 full pieces right here. So I'm gonna break this as well. Like, this is not hard to do. It sounds like it, but it's not. Now I'm gonna arrange it on the table so that you can see how it's gonna go on the drum carder. So what we're gonna do is the 2 half pieces go in the center. And then with the next pieces on either side, what we do is we divide the next one of the whole pieces into like a 3/4, 1/4 section. Now I'm doing the same thing with the other one. I'm gonna bend it in half, right? And then just take 1/2 and kind of fold it back so you can see where 1/4 would be. Okay, right here. Perfect. So this is gonna go into the drum carder in 5 strips. The first strip is all blue. The next strip is 3/4 blue, 1/4 white. We're gonna have 5 rows, basically, of fiber that we put on here. You just saw on the table. If you have doubts that you can visualize it, you can put a piece of painter's tape on temporarily with like hash marks. I'm gonna start in the middle with the 2 half pieces, and I'm gonna layer them. So we're gonna start. I do wanna fluff this up a little or draft it out, because if it's too thick, it'll stick on the liquor in. I have never had to clean my burnishing brush before, but I had some tweed from the last spin I did stuck in it. Okay, so if that happens, because it's only because I have it so thick going on, you can just pry it up and start it. It just got stuck on the liquor end. It happens if you put your fiber in too thick. I am gonna burnish this down before we do the next stripe. We're just gonna do the same thing with the 3/4 stripes on either side now. As it comes up in between here, this is only pulling off a little at a time. It is not pulling the whole blob off at a time. It's like stretching it out and spreading it onto the bat, and so you will get more blending if you go from underneath. Let's go look at it on the table. So you can kind of already see right now that as you go through, this has the most white, this has a little more white, a little less white, like that, right? You can kind of see it already. What I really want to do is blend this one more time. So I'm going to lay it down. And I do have to kind of push it together because when you take it off, it just kind of fluffs open. Let me get it started. Okay. So now that it's started, what I can do is put my hand, do not poke your hands into the needles, and do not do this while you're moving your drums. Like if you have an electric, don't turn it off and do this. So I'm gonna draft it a bit. Straight out. All right, then I'm just gonna do a tiny bit and see how that's going in. And as you actually start to get it sucked in and started on this drum, it'll be actually easier to draft. So, and I really do want to go slow. On the second pass through, you can really see it. The transition. You can blend this as many times as you want. When you go through multiple times, you could see that it's a little bit more difficult. There are other things I can do to, I guess, make it a little easier, but it's never going to be super simple. Okay, we're done. I'm going to show you up close. All right, so now you can really truly see the way that it works. And if I wanted to spin a gradient from this and chain ply it, which is really the main purpose for wanting to do this, I guess unless you're doing a single, what I would do, and you've seen me do it before probably, I have so much wool on me right now, is I call this an N or a Z situation. I would separate it, I'll just show you. You can pull it off in strips if you want, just like start it, right? And gently pull off a strip. But what I like to do is stop when there's, I don't know, 3 or 4 inches in the division part. Go over another strip's width, whatever that looks like for you. And so that's why I call this the N or the Z, because you end up with a zigzag all the way up. And just keep pulling it apart. This part's actually really easy when you've practiced for a little bit. Huge bats. This is my classic Carter. You know I love it. So you can really see that. So cool. I'm gonna make it a spiral so that the gradient is a little clearer. Let's go. Let's do it. You can see now that when you spin this, you will get such a cool freaking gradient. Look at that, it's gorgeous. I can't wait to spin this. So I'm gonna show you how to do it with 2 different colors on a blending board. The only difference with the blending board is that I'm gonna layer it a lot of times immediately the first time I go through so that I hopefully don't have to try to do it twice, but if I have to do it twice, I can. Blending board only holds about, I don't know, an ounce and a half, so I'm gonna weigh out 1/2 ounce for both of these. I picked 2 colors. There we go. Okay, perfect. So these are both 0.7 ounces. We'll see if we can fit it all on. I'd like to. So I'm gonna do the same thing. Let's see. And you can see it's a much smaller amount, so it's a full length, and about a half length. We're gonna do the same thing again, and again you can see that line that makes it 2 triangles of the 2 different colors, and how that will help you visualize how much to do as you put your gradient, or put it through your gradient. So I'm gonna start in the middle again. I just like doing that. So the halves. And I've talked about this with the blending board before. If you want to blend more, you just need thinner layers. So I'm going to start right in the middle, and I'm going to go so thin. Okay. Oops, right over it. So I want you to decide, but now I'm going to do word parts. I'm going to do paint, and I'm going to have to ready to make more. So try to do it for a second. And then just fine. You will learn to go, and that's perfect. That's what you want. Because you're there, working hard, and you're ready to make, so it's fine. You look at this. There's this. There. Don't jump some draft, no, then turn it. Layers. Striping is pretty easy to do, so I do want to sit down here and like go out and try out and cut their layers. Those things like that. You don't have to listen to you, trying to do it, obviously. It's always on. Okay, yes, there. Alright. Just take one there. Actually, still have to put it away. This is not layers. As you sit, drop off. Throw in there, it'll blend more. So that's just throw it in there. And then in layers, that's what I want. There's one chance to work out. Yes. And then, so, and then, a little bit. Sit down. So, I did not talk about this with the drum carder, but I'm going to talk about it now because I think it makes a lot of sense. Actually, we're going to do it now. So aside from just making one long gradient like I did, you can just pull this off and do the same Z division or N division that I did. And you can do that and it will be really cool. But if you want to make a self-striping yarn, this is another way to do it. So let me show you how to do that. If you wanted this blended more, the whole point of me doing it in like tiny little thin layers was so I wouldn't have to, so I'm not going to, but you can do it. You just pull it off and then take the whole bat or separate it like half and half and like do the same thing again in thin layers, and you'll get more blending. But if you want to make something that self-stripes in a gradient like this, it can be really cool. I'm going to show you. I'm going to try to pull 3 off of here. I think I should be able to. You can also pull these fake rolags off your your drum carder. I've done it before, I've showed it. I'll do it with the 3-color. Okay, so you want to get caught in your dowels. So I'm drafting a wee bit, but I don't want to wind it up tight because I hate that, as you know, so I'm going to just let it break. Okay, I'm going to wind this up, but not tightly because I hate it. Look at how good that looks. That is perfect. See that? That's the thin layers. If you want to do it just one time on your drum carder, do it in the thin layers. But see, it's perfect. I mean, it couldn't be any better. Okay. So the goal is to get 3 of these. I'm gonna do the last one. So I'm gonna leave, it's probably about an inch that's pushed into the wires up there for me to draft against. It's not gonna be easy, so I'm just gonna slowly work it down. That's just because I want it pre-drafted a little for just that little bit more blending. Loosely wind it up. Okay. So, oh my gosh, I love these too. What? I thought I wanted a brighter green, but I kind of love it. If you want to do something like this and you want a self-striping yarn, you can, let me show you. So you can spin this like green to blue. Here, let's do it this way again. Spiral helps. So you can spin this. I'm caught. I like to pre-draft them. That is just preference. You can do whatever you like. So you can, this will self-stripe then. So you'll go green to blue, straight to green again, or you can do this where it fades back and forth. So it fades from the blue to the green. Can you see the whole thing? Not really, hang on. Or you can do it where it fades back and forth. So it fades all the way from the blue to the green, green back to the blue, blue back to the green. So you get a really cool gradient throughout the whole thing, but it like shifts back and forth between the colors. If you're gonna do it in the stripes, you can just make like 3 or 4 boards, as many as you want, and keep pulling them off in the thirds, and you have exactly what you want. Pretend I still had this on the board and I was like, this is only 1.5 ounces. I really want 4 ounces. Like, what am I gonna do? I can't do 4 ounces on my board. So let me tell you, what you're gonna do is make yourself as close to identical bats as possible. And then you're gonna divide them into strips. So like maybe, let's just say you did 5 strips. So you're gonna spin all the green, all the number 1 strips together. And then you'll move to the number 2 strips, one after another. Then you'll move to the number 3 strips, one after another, and you will get a gradient that is as many ounces as you want. I mean, you just keep going. Like I said, this video is gonna be long. So I'm gonna do this as quickly as I can, and I'm gonna make it a smaller bat. I'm gonna do 1 ounce of each of the 3 colors that I'm gonna shift through. Oh, too good, they're all 1 ounce. All right, and now we're gonna do the exact same thing. I'm not gonna talk. I think you get it. What do I want in the middle? Okay, we're doing it. So I'm gonna start with the copper. Oh my gosh, this is wild. So this is gonna be our next bat blended. Let's take it to the drum carder. Okay, this time oh gosh, Hello. This time I'm not going to talk except to say I'm going to take my own advice and do thinner layers and try to do it in just a one pass. I don't know if that's possible, but I'm going to try. And then also I am going to start in the middle like I did the first time, but I'm going to put my book on and I'm not going to talk. In case you're wondering, because I know there's always someone who wants to know, I am listening to Missing Joseph by Elizabeth George. It's a Lindley mystery. I'm sure a lot of you guys will know what that is. Taking my own advice seems to have done what I wanted, which is blend it to a level that I'm okay with just one pass. So I'm not going to run it through again, but if I was going to, I would do the same thing I did before. I am going to show you how to take this off so that you get a self-striping yarn. I'm trying to make sure I'm in the right, there we go. Okay, so what I use is a doorstop. It's like a rubber doorstop. And I'm going to turn this so I can get in the back. So what I do is I take my doorstop and I put it down in between the drum and the edge. Let me show you. Hang on. It's right here. It's pushed down so that when I'm trying to move it, it won't want to move. And then I take my dowels, as always, if I'm trying to pull this off in a rolag format, even though it's not a rolag. And I roll towards me from the back and pull up from the back. I had to push the doorstop down a little bit further, but you'll feel it when it stops. And then you just let it pull apart, just like we did before on the blending board. And then I'll use those wires to roll it. Check this out. Look at that. So good. So we're gonna do the same thing through the whole drum. Last one. See that? The dowels come out really easily, and I'm telling you, there will be someone who says that if you don't like spinning tight roll legs, you're weird. Fine, I'm weird. Not at all when they're too tight. They look prettier in the roll leg format, but I don't like how they spin. Okay, so these are the finished ones. I'm gonna just spiral one. And again, you can see that you can do a self-striping yarn with this by just drafting off the end of the roll leg and or whatever you want to call this. It's a full leg, but you can do the same thing again. You can self-stripe, you can make the gradient shift back and forth however you want. These are insane. Oh my gosh. We're coming in close. Look at this one. But here's me. Look at this one. Look at that one. I'm like Scarlett Johansson on Saturday Night Live. Look at that. See? These colors together. Perfection. And so this is a 3-ounce project. I hope this helps you if you just want to take 2 colors that you have in your stash or 2 rovings or tops or whatever, and you want to make a gradient. And like for me, this is something I love to do to make a big one-piece lace shawl or whatever. So I hope that it helps you. I hope that it was fun for you, and I had a great time, and I feel like I learned. Like on the blue one, I wish I had divided it into layers so I didn't have to run it through twice. So just so you know, if you do that and you just can run it through once, it is easier. I mean, you can see that I struggled running it through the second time with the drafting all in one piece. I didn't want to interrupt that gradient, so I have to do it all in one piece, but it's not easy to do. So learn from my mistakes, which I am showing you so that you can, that if you do it in thinner layers, you can go one pass through and then you can spin it and it's gonna be great. And honestly, this was hard for me because I want to sit down and spin them all, and I have stuff I have to do today, so I can't sit down and spin for a little while. But I hope you guys are having a great winter here, summer in the southern hemisphere, and I hope everything is okay at your houses. I hope you're healthy. I hope your 2024 has been amazing up until now, and I will see you very soon. I'm gonna be live making bats this week. I've been doing a lot over here now that I feel better. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I will see you soon. Thanks. I love you. Bye.